So, hello everyone. I'm excited to launch this workshop. I'm excited to share about procrastination. I'm excited to share about my own procrastination journey and about everything that I've done um, to grow into all the tools that I've developed in order to tackle procrastination. I'm excited for you to be here. What we'll do is I will have the workshop, and then at the end, we'll have questions. So you'll be able to ask me questions about whether it's about Notion specifically or about procrastination or whatever we talked about. So let's dive in. I've asked in the chat a question to get people started. I hope you can hear me well. I've asked people what's a cute nickname that you have, and what's your number one reason for procrastinating? I know we all have our different reasons, but yes, so I'm excited to see what we're all sharing. And hopefully this workshop really helps you think through your own procrastination journey and what you can do to tackle it. So let's get started. So to start, I'll just briefly introduce myself. My name is Melissa Gentil. I'm a marketing and communication specialist. I started my creative journey as a freelancer doing photography and video and then design, and eventually shifted from being a freelancer to doing business. And in that shift, I've learned a lot of different things and developed different tools, and this is why we do those workshops. Those workshops are on the around like freelance to business, is because those tools that I've learned, I really want to be able to share them with as many people as possible because they help me, and I hope that they can help you as well. As you know, probably, I'm also the founder of Mission Co. And we're a growing web design, content creation, and marketing agency. And we are excited to serve mission driven and intentional, but also busy leaders and entrepreneurs. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you know. Either way, I'm excited for us to get into that workshop and talk about procrastination. In terms of procrastination myself, I've dealt with it for a really long time. And there are many reasons for that. Again, and when we talk about different reasons why someone might feel like procrastination is something that they have to deal with, like each person is different. For me, it's just, at first it was a way for me to get motivated to do something. So I would wait until last minute. I remember when I was in college, I had essays to write, and I would literally wait the day of to write and research and write my essays. And of course, because it's college and because some classes were easier than others, I would get things done really fast and get good grades. But I also recognized that it's because I needed that adrenaline rush to get things going, and that's part of why I was procrastinating. And then of course, when I went to grad school, I realized that I needed a system, otherwise I would fail all my classes, because college and grad school are two different things. So I think that's when I started learning how to develop tools for myself, tools that could help me grow, help me organize my life and whatever projects I was involved with. So that's what I'm really excited to share with you. It's some of those tools. So for this workshop, we'll cover the why. We'll talk about why sometimes we procrastinate. Of course, there are a variety of reasons, but I'll tackle two of those whys. And then we'll talk about new habits. I'll give you 3 tips/new habits that you can implement in your life today if you want to, and that those habits can help with procrastination. And then we'll talk about the procrastination antidote template, which is a Notion template that you can find on our website, Freelance to Business. And if you haven't gotten the template, you can always get it. If you aren't familiar with the template, we'll talk about that more. And if you aren't familiar with Notion at all, we'll also have a time where you can ask questions. I'll take the questions in the chat, so feel free to continue to chat and get to know each other in the chat during the workshop, and then we'll have Q&As, as I said. So let's get into it. The first thing is the why behind the procrastination. Like I shared with you in college, I had very specific reasons for wanting to procrastinate. But as I grew older, I realized that there are so many other whys to procrastination. One of the first whys that I can identify or I would like to talk about is the fact that sometimes we procrastinate because we don't like the task that we have to do. For example, if I have to, I'll give an example for myself. I do not like budgeting, finance, doing all of that paperwork that's that we tend to have to do for business. I do not like that part of business. I will not lie, but it is. I realize that sometimes I'll procrastinate on doing those things because I don't like them. Whereas I love marketing, I love creating, I love drafting posts, editing videos. So I will not procrastinate on those tasks, but tell me to sit down and think and plan and organize and do admin work, and I will procrastinate as long as possible because I just don't like them. So that's one why we don't procrastinate. Maybe you can relate to that. If you can react and send a little emoji to react, because I'm sure we've all been there. The second reason sometimes we procrastinate is because we get easily distracted. One of the things that I often have to deal with, and a lot of people will think that, oh, like you're like so organized, you're this. I'm like, I have chaos in my mind. So if I'm not organized, it's chaos everywhere. So getting easily distracted is something that not only used to be maybe popular with a certain group of people who maybe had ADHD, ADD, ADHD, or a certain group of just people in the population, but it's because of the general attention span that is decreasing. We are more and more as a generation, we are more and more distracted. Easily more, our attention span just reduces itself. That's why we have TikTok as a platform that banks on just the short attention span. And so and when we have to sit down and do things that take time, that require a lot of brain power, sometimes that can lead to procrastination because we have this and this, and we think about all the things that we have to do, where the disorganization and the chaos inside just kind of translate into procrastination. So that's another reason why sometimes we can procrastinate. That has happened to me, so I completely understand. I've been there where let's say I have 5 different projects, and I start one, but then I think about the other one and what I need to do for this, and then I start doing that task, and then I go to the one, and then it just goes crazy. So I completely understand. So those are 2 whys. Of course, there can be more, and I'm sure you'll share more in the chat and get to know each other through your common whys. So now that we've talked about the why, I also want to give you new habits. I don't want to just talk about the negative. I want to talk about what can you do to fight procrastination. What are some things that you can do? I'm really excited about this section because as I'm sharing this with you, this is also something that I'm learning and that I'm growing into. And I'm excited to share what I've found that works for me or what I found that I am working on as I'm talking to you and growing in this. So, one of the first habits is the one touch method. It's not something that I created or invented. I actually saw it on a TikTok and decided to implement it. And I really saw how it changed things for me. Because sometimes, and I'll give you a short story to illustrate this. I love TikTok as well. It was a birthday celebration. They gave me gifts. I had a bunch of packages that I needed to put away. I was grateful for the gifts. After the party, I put them somewhere in my space, right? I put the gift bags and everything, and I'm like, okay, I'll sort them out later. 1 week goes by, they're still in my space, not organized. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, finally, I recently got around to putting them away. And I realized that if I had the minute I was carrying the packages, if I had put them away that same second, I wouldn't have been procrastinating at all because there wouldn't have been any reason to. So the one touch method, it seems really simple, but the one touch method is basically if you touch something, you do something about it. If you see an email, if you open an email, reply to that email immediately. Even if it's to say, well received, we'll get in touch with you. You reply immediately. If you get a message from someone, that I know some of us have done it. We get a message and we're like, oh yeah, I'll reply later. And then a few minutes, days, etc. go by and then we haven't done anything about it. So if you touch something, you do something about it immediately. That's the one touch method. I've seen it, I've implemented it myself, and I've seen how much it's changed the game for me. And it's just a reminder, you touch something, you have to do something about it. And I was just encouraging you guys to try this method and maybe tell me how it goes for you, either on Instagram or via email, however you want to get in touch. But yes, so that's the one touch method. The second method is DND. Being on Do Not Disturb, whether it's on your phone or your laptop, or however you decide to be on a Do Not Disturb bubble, that also can help with distraction. Sometimes it means you just take your phone and literally put it in a drawer, or you hide it somewhere in your space so that you don't touch your phone for at least an hour so that you can get things done. Sometimes it just means you put your phone on focus mode so that you can get the work that you need done. One of the things that sometimes I like to do is the first thing I do when of course my alarm can be on my phone, and that's the thing too, because we have so many uses for the phone, it can be the first thing that we pick up during the day as soon as we wake up. So one of the things that I like to do is when I keep my phone on DND, Do Not Disturb, until at least 8 a.m. So between the time that I wake up and 8 a.m., the distractions are gone. And there are a limited number of apps that are allowed to be on at any given day. So the essential apps like Bible app, that will be on all the time. But the other apps have restricted access to them. So that limits the distractions that way. And what I've even tried to do is that even after 8 a.m., I don't necessarily go on social media until maybe 9, just because that allows me to have at least another hour to be productive without the noise of the internet. And so Do Not Disturb is one of those ways that you can really, whether it's putting Do Not Disturb on your phone and setting it up, and if you have more questions about that, we can talk about it at the Q&A, but that's another method that can definitely change things. And again, like I said, sometimes even with focus mode on, you're still distracted. So don't be afraid to just put the phone away. Hide it and leave it in your bag. Hide it somewhere where you cannot see it so that you can focus. The third method that I want to talk about, or the third habit, is focus of the day. Of course, it doesn't work for everyone, but especially what I've learned is that, especially when I have a big chunk of my day that's already filled with other priorities, when it comes to personal projects or ministry or business, and when I have a limited amount of time, instead of trying to fit everything and try to do everything in one sitting, I just choose one focus. So today might be discovery call days. So this is a day where I have calls with potential clients, people that want to talk and work with us at Emergency & Co. Or another day could be admin. And so I know that this is all that I'm doing for a couple of hours. This is a focus. I've noticed that if I have more than 2 or 3, then I actually don't end up doing much. So having the focus of the day can help stay organized and keep your mind focused on that one thing that you need to do. Of course, you can be flexible, and that's and fit whatever habit to who you are and how your brain works. So these are the 3 habits that I wanted to talk about today. And then now I want to talk about the template, the Procrastination Antidote template, because it's one thing to have the new habits to implement, and I love that and it's great, but it's another thing to have a concrete and practical tool that you can use towards your procrastination. So the Procrastination Antidote template, essentially, this is what the template looks like when you get it. There are a few, there's an explanation for it, etc. And then, so we'll go into the different sections of the template, and then and at the same time, I'll talk about what those different sections are and why they're important, etc. So the first section that I want to talk about is the plan, the section that says My Planner. So the way that the template works is that, or the system works, is that every week, essentially, you have a new page. So as you can see, day to, so if this week is the ends on the 20th or the 19th, let's say Saturday 19th, so it would be August whatever to August 19th, and then so that would be the week. So every week there is a different template. And then what happens is that once you're done with a week, you can change the status of the week, and that will put it in past weeks. So if that makes sense. So it's set up so that you don't see all of the weeks all at once. It archives the weeks that you've completed, and that's how the system works. So it's a built-in system so that you can continue to work on it and do all of that. And of course, if you start using it for years and years, you can not only add, date, day, month, but you can also add year if you start using it for a while. So we've talked about the planner this month versus past weeks, a new page. The other thing about the planner, again, is that every time you need to make a new page or a new week, you just click new, or you click the arrow down, and then you go to the default template. But all you have to do is click new, and then you get a new week. And then, so we talked about the planner. The other section that I want to talk about is the page itself. So the top of the page, you have a cover. Of course, you can change the cover. When I do this for work, I do this for personal, and it's helped me a lot, especially in your one of the things that help with having a template like this is that for your professional or career, in your professional career, in your professional path and journey, having registering or recording essentially what you do each week is helpful to show how productive you are to your supervisors, so that let's say that you are asking for a promotion, you can clearly say, hey, this is what I worked on, these are the tasks that I've done, like this is how productive I am. You can actually showcase what it is that you've done, and even if it's for your own satisfaction, being able to kind of see what you've accomplished through like week after week is a great way to to remind yourself that you can be productive and that you are productive. You are a productive individual. So that's my little spiel about why this is also important. So we have the cover here. We also have the icon. You can change the icon as well. Sometimes you can change the cover to something fun. They have a ton of different free images. So if you want the beach, you can set it up for, oh, this week I want the theme to be a beach. So you change the cover to an image of the beach, or maybe you like the mountains, or maybe you like, I don't know, whatever it is that you like, or colors specifically, you can change all of that. The icon you can also change. But the default icon and cover will be this. And then, as I said, so you change the D and D to whatever date and month you are using for that week. And then the other aspect is the focus of the week. So focus of the week can be, it can be anything, it can be multiple things. But let's say that this week, for example, this week, we are doing the procrastination antidote. So I might say, okay, this week I want to make sure that this is my bigger task. This is something that I want to accomplish by the end of this week. So I can put procrastination antidote workshop as my focus of the week. Of course, I do other things, but this is the main focus. Or maybe you have a product that you're launching, and you're launching it at the end of the week, or even at the end of the month. I think it's focus of the month, actually. So you can write that down and be like, this is my focus for this month, for this week. This is what I want to keep at the forefront of my mind. And then, of course, you have status. So status is for each week. If you haven't, the week hasn't started, of course it's on not started. That's the default. Once you are using the template and that's the week of, it's gonna show in progress. And then once the week is over, you can put complete. And once you do complete, like I said, it goes into past weeks, and so it's no longer inactive page. So we've talked about the new page, naming it, changing the cover and icon, focus of the week, status. And now the other part that I want to talk about is the rest of the page. So what I've put on there is a verse or quote of the week. So if you're a Christian, you want a particular verse, whether it's a verse that you're memorizing or a verse that speaks to you for that week, you can write it down. If you want a quote or something that really spoke to you, maybe that you heard, and you want that to be at the forefront of your mind throughout the week, that's a section where you could put the verse and the quote, etc. And then we have, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the different tasks. Every time you add a task, and you can add tasks, you can change. What I like, and that's one of the reasons why I'm introducing this tool, is that for the longest time I've used actual planners, like pen and paper planners. But the thing with pen and paper is that once you write it, it just stays in one place. Whereas with this template and with this tool, because it's digital, let's say that I was supposed to write emails to a potential client on Monday, but then let's say that something happens, life happens, there's an emergency, or even let's say that you just you just didn't feel like it, you were sick, or what, for whatever reason, you can do it on Monday. You can just shift that little box to Tuesday or to Wednesday. That means that task is still being taken care of, but just not on that day. And that's totally fine. I especially love that aspect of the digital planner because then there's flexibility. We're humans, life happens, and so in that way you don't feel like a complete failure because I had so many tasks and I didn't get to do them. You can just shift it and refocus, and that's what I like about this template. So essentially, I've tried to make the procrastination antidote as easy as possible, especially if you're new to Notion. That was one of my goals, to make this an easy template that can get you into Notion and get you organized if it's your first time. And if it's not your first time, it's still sometimes simple is better. And so it is very simple. You can, if this is not you're not new to Notion, you can always update the template, change things, make it your own. But this is a really good jumpstart for whatever you have to do to get organized and to fight procrastination. So essentially, this is the Notion template. Like I said, it is available on our website. You can do freelancetobiz.com, or you can go to medjetian.com/freelancetobusiness. You'll see all the resources. We have resources that are free, and then resources that are paid resources. So some of our free resources are, and some of the resources that are still up there and will be up there are workshops on like marketing and tips and branding and things like that. We have resources around event design, like a template to help you design your own CV. So those are free resources. And then the paid resources, we have the procrastination antidote, like I said, and the pricing formula as well. And there's even a workshop to help you navigate that resource. But essentially, the pricing formula is a formula that I developed because, as I said earlier, I was starting as a freelancer and I didn't know how to price my services. And so I developed a formula where you can input different variables, and then it will tell you, okay, what can you charge? If you want to be generous, this is the minimum that you should charge. If you want to be more aggressive, this is how much you can charge. And it's been a lifesaver. It helped me really figure out how to not only price my services, but see how valuable what I was offering actually was. So that's the pricing formula. And then we also have the creator portfolio. And the creator portfolio is a website template, because sometimes, like when you're starting out, especially if you're a creator, influencer, you might not have the budget to do a full website, but this is a template that can help you get started and display what you've created, whether it's on Instagram, on TikTok, etc. That way, when brands are reaching out to you or people are reaching out to you, they know where to find you and what your work actually consists of and what you're offering as well in terms of packages and things like that. And your contact information, of course. So these are some of the resources that we have on Freelance to Business. So in general, we are at a time where I'm excited to share and answer any questions that you guys have. I will go in the chat. I'm really glad I was able to talk to you guys, and I'm grateful that we were able to chat about procrastination. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope that you were able to learn a bit more about Notion, but also about how to use a template, and in general, how you might be able to fight procrastination, because it is possible. It's not impossible. It might be hard, but having new habits, learning new habits, using specific tools to help you with that, those are things that I believe will help in terms of fighting procrastination. So thank you for joining. And if you have any questions, let me know in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. Yes, so Becca said this was super helpful. I do use a written planner, but I like what you pointed out about the digital one for flexibility. Thank you. Yes, I'm grateful. Yes, that is something that has really been um, helpful for me, especially because I like to see things checked off. So the fact that if it's a written planner, then it can't be checked off because I didn't get to do it. That also just brings my spirit down. So being able to shift task around has been really, really helpful. And the other aspect of having a digital planner as well is that you can take it anywhere. For example, if I go somewhere and I meet a potential client, let's say, and they're like, or I talk to someone and I just need to make sure that my planner is set, I can just go on my phone, I access the Notion template or access whatever digital planner I have, and that helps me have access to that information without needing to carry a physical planner. So I love pen and paper, of course, and I'm always carrying a notebook with me, but I've found that the digital planner is also really, really nice, and it offers really interesting perks as well.